Welcome to the Advanced Geekery Project Lab, where I'm testing 3D printers for your entertainment and edification. Today we're looking at the Anycubic Kobra S1 Combo, Anycubic's fully enclosed Core XY 3D printer. My name is David Gewirtz. Welcome back to the Advanced Geekery channel. Let's get to the juicy bits right away. Although the S1 Combo has a list price of $759, it's generally available from $459 to $519, depending on where you buy it and whether or not it's on sale. For a fully enclosed printer with a multi-filament feeder, it's an okay offering, but the machine's nearly constant need to fail on printing makes it a frustrating product to use.
This program is sponsored in part by the Advanced Geekery Weekly newsletter. Want exclusive access to my latest ZDNet articles, behind-the-scenes updates on my projects, and must-watch YouTube videos curated just for you? How about fascinating reads from around the web and a chance to have your own project spotlighted? It's all in the newsletter. And the best part, subscribing is absolutely free. Don't wait, click the link below to get your weekly issue and make it awesome.
Here's how this review is going to work. Most 3D printers have a lot to like, but they also include their fair share of head scratchers and genuine annoyances. As I go through the review, I'll be giving everything I like a good, everything that's just plain odd a rating of weird, and everything that I don't like a point for ugly. Think of weird as a measure of what were they thinking, and ugly as a measure of, uh-oh, that's bad. Let's get started. The Kobra S1 is an FDM, fused deposition modeling 3D printer, which means it uses melted extruded filament to build objects layer by layer. As shipped, the entire printer itself was pre-assembled. It came out of the box ready to run, and unlike many of the printers I got in for review in 2025, this one actually ran right out of the box. That earns the Kobra S1 its first good. I made an unboxing video you can watch that shows how this came together. At 250 by 250 by 250, the build area is a reasonable size, although it's slightly smaller than both the Anycubic Kobra 3 and the Anycubic Kobra X, both of which are about $200 less expensive. The S1's build area is roughly the same size as the Bambu P2S, although that machine is priced at $799, and you probably won't see a deal on that price for a while. While the Anycubic S1 Combo we're reviewing here today has nearly the same list price, in the S1's case $749, you're far more likely to find a deal on the S1 that can save you quite a bit. Because pricing on the S1 can vary by $300 or so at any time, the Anycubic S1 Combo earns its first weird. Both are enclosed Core XY printers. Both have multi-filament feeders, and unlike the Bambu P1S, both the S1 and P2S have high-quality touchscreen control panels. The part that makes the S1 Combo a combo is the Anycubic ACE unit, Anycubic's 4-color printing module. The module itself came pre-assembled, but you have to run 4 PTFE tubes between the color unit and the printer. Creality and Bambu have essentially the same type of multicolor feeders, but because the filament switching occurs at the module rather than at the printer, they only require 1 PTFE tube. I'm going to give this printer its first ugly, because removing the little blue horseshoe connectors that secure the tubes was a righteous nightmare. I'm going to give it its second ugly because the printer has a very cluttered feel with all those tubes, plus the addition of cables, including a second power cable for the ACE unit. Current 3D printer manufacturers have some sort of delusion about their slicers. They're all using some variant of Cura or Orca slicer, yet for some reason, vendors have to put their own skin on top of these working open source slicers. When I first got the Anycubic Kobra 3 bed slinger, the only slicer supported on the Mac was an older Anycubic slicer. It was clunky, but it mostly worked. By the time this S1 arrived, a slicer called Anycubic Slicer Next was available. It worked fairly well. Sometimes the slicer won't remotely connect to the printer, ugly, and sometimes the video monitor won't enable, another ugly, but it's a much better piece of software than it was when I reviewed the Kobra 3. That's a good. The color touchscreen is nicely responsive. That gets a good. Another good is the fact that the color module, this, is also a filament dryer. That's nice, helpful, and sometimes very necessary as a feature, and it's built right in. Even though most modern printers now include a filament runout sensor, a power fail resume feature, and automatic bed leveling, I'm going to give it a good, one for each feature. Print quality, when it prints, is generally good. I printed this X-Wing fighter, which turned out great. I also printed this Star Trek Deep Space Nine space station. The fact that it's so gnarly is not the fault of the S1. I set up supports incorrectly and it shows. But the parts of the station where there was no support damage turned out sweet. The problem with this printer is that I never know whether the next print will actually begin printing. For example, after I printed the X-Wing, I tried 4 or 5 times with different prints, including a simple cube and a benchy, and I couldn't get the printer to work. I have field stripped the print head, the ace unit, and the multi-filament hub more times than I care to count. There's something of a pattern to this problem. One print will succeed, the next few will fail. I even bought a replacement hub since the innards of that part are sealed. After spending hours tearing this machine apart and rebuilding it, there's a chance I might get another good print, but never, not once, have I gotten 2 prints out of this machine without having to rebuild it. It's not the filament or profile because it fails with Anycubic filaments using Anycubic profiles too. To be fair, other S1 reviewers haven't reported this level of problem, but it is what I've been experiencing. The S1 Facebook group also has members that report similar troubles. These reliability issues earn the Anycubic Kobra S1 its final ugly. So, do I recommend you buy this thing? Reviewers generally rely on their relationships with vendors to get products into review. The risk is that if you give a product a less than stellar review, the vendor might cut you off. If you take the job seriously, being a reviewer is an awesome responsibility. A good review could send a great many buyers to a vendor. A bad review could slow down that flow. But I'm not sponsored by the vendors. I'm an advocate for you, the viewer. If I give a challenge product a good review, it's you who will be spending your hard-earned money and you who will be living it for days, weeks, or months of frustration. I know lots of YouTubers give positive reviews to challenge products because they want to keep the review hardware coming in and they want some of that sweet sponsorship or affiliate bucks. But that's unethical, irresponsible, and harmful to the individuals watching their content. So here's my conclusion. I like the S1 and its design. I like that when it's on sale, it's basically a lower cost knockoff of the Bambu Lab X1 Carbon or P2S. And if I could get it to actually print every time I asked it to make a print, or even most of the time, I would wholeheartedly recommend it. But it doesn't. I have 8 running printers here in the Fab Lab. Unless I'm specifically testing this S1, if I have a print I need to produce, I never send it to this machine. I can't count on it, and the need to constantly fix it is more stressful than it is helpful. So I can't recommend it. I won't tell you not to buy it if you want. If you don't mind tearing down the machine to make repairs, or if you trust other reviewers' opinions more than mine, go for it. But I'm going to rate this one a pass. I like the Anycubic folks. They've always been friendly. I have another Anycubic printer in the queue for review, and it looks promising. So stay tuned for that review. What do you think? Even after hearing about my experience, do you think this is a printer you'd like to use? Let us know in the comments below. My name is David Gewirtz. Go out there and make it awesome.